My sister got diagnosed with leukemia at her health checkup. Turns out my bone marrow is a match. Out of curiosity, I told the family it was me who was sick instead. They flat out opposed it. They said donating bone marrow is risky. We can't let your sister take that risk. Don't drag her into this mess. Life and death are fate. You should accept it. My sister straight up refused me, saying she's trying to have a baby. The fragile family bond we had was finally stripped bare. I finally got it. I left them the test results and walked out for good. When I found out about the match, I had just learned I was pregnant. My advisor, looking all serious, pulled me aside to talk. He said if I want to donate bone marrow to Carrie, there's a good chance I'd have to end the pregnancy. He urged me to think it over and discuss it with my husband. And I was really torn over this. I went through a lot with traditional meds and careful planning to get pregnant. My husband was over the moon when he found out, ready to tell the whole world he was going to be a dad. How could I even consider ending the pregnancy? But Carrie is just 29, she's different. She was our parents' golden child. If something happened to her, it'd destroy them. After battling with myself all afternoon, I decided to head home after work. When I got there, the family was happily enjoying dinner. Besides Carrie's family, my brother Ken and his girlfriend were there too, celebrating something. My arrival broke the mood. Everyone stopped smiling and set their glasses down, awkwardly quiet. Mom tried to play it off, welcoming me warmly, but distantly. She said, "Thought you were busy, didn't want to bother you. Lucky you though, come join." But her gestures were tellingly polite and detached. I decided to play along. Unexpectedly, I held her hand gently and said, "Mom, I'm sick." Her hand stiffened, but she kept it there. "Eat more. Food fixes everything," she said dismissively, not even asking what was wrong. Finding an excuse to free her hand, Ken frowned. "Sonny, you're here to kill the vibe, right? Every time we're happy, you ruin it. Today's about Carrie's overseas tour. Don't tell me this isn't on purpose." I ignored him and sat down in the chair Mom pulled out. "I've got leukemia." Ken fell silent. Mom's hand shook, dropping chopsticks. Silence fell in the room. Tears welled in Mom's eyes, and Dad finally spoke. He said, "Your in-laws should know. They can afford the treatment." Glancing disapprovingly at me, he added, "Stay calm about these things. Don't go shocking your mom's blood pressure through the roof." Mom started placing food on my plate, agreeing with him. "Listen to your dad, eat first, then we talk." Carrie joined in, smiling broadly like a carefree kid. "Yeah, think happier thoughts. That's how you stay healthy." I didn't touch the food, just glanced around at them. I wasn't asking for help with bills. I wanted to know if Carrie would donate her marrow to me. The room fell quiet again. Dad finally banged his chopsticks on the table. "Ridiculous," he said, furrowing his brows. "Don't you know bone marrow donation is risky?" I gave a small, bitter smile. "Is it not worth a tiny risk to save me?" But Dad turned away stubbornly. "We can't risk that 1% chance with Carrie. It's 100% if it happens to her." I wasn't surprised. Being the second child fostered away, Dad never wanted me around, not even now. Luckily, Mom and Carrie have been kinder. I turned my gaze to Mom. Tears were already rolling down her cheeks. I hoped maybe illness would finally close the distance between us. Maybe she'd hug me just like she hugs Carrie. But she spoke heart-rending words instead. "Child, life and death are fate. You've got to accept it." Holding her heart with sorrow, she added, "You're sick and want to drag Carrie down? If I lost both daughters, how'd I live?" I realized then, it wasn't losing both daughters that scared her. It was losing only Carrie. I turned to look at Carrie for her reaction. Since I was brought back, she's been decent to me. She'd scold Ken when he picked on me. But now, she was glaring at me with unusual anger. "Sonny, you did this on purpose," she exclaimed, standing up. "I've wanted to say this for a while. You think sending you away was unfair. And you've come back gloomy, trying to make us all unhappy. Acting weak like you suffered so much outside. Don't think we can't tell you want them to feel guilty." She took a breath, leveling her voice. "But there's a limit. We overlook the little stuff. But now you're talking bone marrow donation so casually? You want to throw our parents into an impossible situation. If they refuse, they're heartless. If they agree, we may lose 2 daughters. You say I'm so vicious. Why can't you let us be happy?" Carrie said this as she reached out and hugged Mom. And after hearing her words, Mom finally started crying, full of grievances. Carrie, stop it. It's your dad's fault for insisting on having a boy and a girl. Otherwise, we wouldn't have. She didn't finish, but everyone knew what she wanted to say. She meant otherwise I wouldn't have been born. Ken stood up too, and they stood by Mom's side, both giving me the same resentful look. Carrie lifted her head looking righteous. Sonny, I'm not giving you the chance to hurt Mom and Dad. Let me make it clear today. I won't donate my bone marrow to you. She stood proudly by Mom. This has nothing to do with Mom and Dad. If it gets out, don't say they're heartless. It's my selfishness. I'm afraid Mom will be heartbroken losing 2 daughters. It's my decision to refuse to donate. I'll take the blame. Carrie's expression was as determined as a martyr. I fiddled with the hospital report in my pocket and couldn't help but chuckle. After a while, I stared at Carrie and asked slowly, word by word, "Are you sure no matter what, you won't donate?" Carrie gently wiped tears from Mom's face, looking even more like a martyr. "I absolutely won't donate," she said. "If you want to blame someone, blame me. Don't take it out on Mom and Dad. I'm trying to get pregnant. I can't sacrifice my child's life for yours." I laughed with tears in my eyes, giving her a pitying look, then softly said, "Yeah, you're right. You can't save someone by killing your child." Carrie didn't get it and lowered her head to comfort Mom. On the other side, Mom was crying uncontrollably, breathing heavily in between. She leaned into her 2 children's arms, as if she were the one left uncared for with leukemia. She weakly patted her chest. "It's all your fault, Mike, for insisting on having a son and a daughter." Father, annoyed by the blame, slammed the table and stood up. He walked over to me, pulling a huge red envelope from his pocket, tossed it in front of me like tossing a beggar some spare change. "Whether it's a real illness or not, take the money and scram. If you stress your mom out, don't expect me to recognize you." In front of me was a beautifully wrapped red envelope, obviously prepared with care. Taking a closer look, it even had pretty handwritten words. "Wishing our dear daughter a successful performance, have fun." I chuckled at myself and looked up to ask, "Giving me this money to save my life, won't it interfere with your daughter's travel plans?" Dad glared at me with disgust, his tone void of any warmth. He said, "Don't give me that sarcastic crap. You wanted fairness and justice. If so, I don't mind breaking ties with you. Never wanted you in the first place. But I arranged for you to be raised, ensured you were fed and clothed. You should be grateful, not always picking fights." He was determined, turning his face away. "I always listened to your mom and put up with you. Today, you crossed the line. Don't blame me for not acknowledging you as my daughter anymore." He finally expelled me. The restaurant fell silent once again. They silently made a path for me to leave, all watching quietly, waiting for me, the disgrace, to leave with the handout. At that moment I realized, no matter how humble I was, I could never be part of this family. Besides, such a family, I don't desire. So when I looked up again, I put away my past cautiousness. I accepted it, weighing the envelope, and slowly stood up. In heels, I was as tall as Dad. I was no longer that little girl who looked forward to seeing him every month. I looked into his eyes, quietly asked, "Since you kept saying you didn't want me, why was I born? Couldn't control yourself, or was I someone else's child?" Dad's pupils shrank suddenly, too shocked to speak. His lips trembled, trying to raise his hand to hit me. I sidestepped and made him stumble, then gestured towards Mom with my chin. "And you, stop with the fake tears. If you didn't want me, why weren't you stronger? Couldn't resist at 140 pounds? Mom finally stopped sobbing. Her facade of being indebted to me was gone. She angrily pointed her trembling finger at me. "You ungrateful brat. I gave birth to you. How can there be such a huge difference?" Seeing her beloved mom insulted, Carrie angrily threw herself into her arms, crying hard. Ken seemed like he wanted to hit me, lunging for my wrist. And their partners joined the chaos. The restaurant turned into a mess. While being tugged around, I took a solid slap from Dad. My face turned to the side, warm blood streaming from my nose. "Get out," Dad shouted. "From now on, we're done. There's no such unfilial child in my home." My hand instinctively went to my stomach. Everything was still fine there. Only then did I truly realize the strange connection I had with the little life inside me. Since it's what I want, I can't fail it. So I lifted my face, glaring at him. Fine, you said it. I'm no longer your daughter. Dad gave me a disgusted look, his face cold. Right, I said it. My word is final. I wiped my face hard. Fine. From now on, we're on our own. Whoever seeks help first is a coward. Dad stayed silent, his neck stiff, but Carrie cried out. Yes. Whoever seeks help first is a jerk, and will die a horrible death. Aren't you gonna leave? You wanna stress out my mom? Satisfied, I smiled and pulled the report from my pocket, tossing it onto the envelope. Great, Carrie, remember what you said today. I won't take the money. You might need it. After coming out, I should have felt relieved. An issue that had been troubling me all afternoon was resolved, and I could finally guilt-free keep my child without donating my bone marrow. I didn't have to maintain those relationships with family anymore. But as I laughed, tears just kept streaming down my face. I'm sitting at an empty bus stop. Everyone has their ride home, except me. I can't find where I'm from. Suddenly, messages pop up in the family group chat with about 60 people. I open it to see an announcement from Dad. Sunny, the unfilial daughter, has insulted her parents and acted inappropriately. We have cut all family ties with her. From now on, any debts or requests for donations under our family name will not be acknowledged. Please take note. After reading that, my blood seemed to freeze. I can't imagine how I'd feel if I were actually sick. Mike is really ruthless, but he's only pushing himself to a dead end. After this announcement, the once quiet family chat became lively. Everyone's gossiping about what happened. Aunt tried to probe. Kids not growing up nearby are hard to manage. It's the parents' fault. Saying it doesn't concern you won't help. Uncle advised, don't be too harsh. Family ties run deep. It'll all be okay once you calm down. Seeing that the relatives didn't take the announcement seriously, Ken spoke up. Sunny is sick and wants my sister to risk herself by donating bone marrow. She refuses to suffer alone and tries to morally blackmail my parents into losing both their children. After Ken's comment, the group chat buzzed even more. I heard donating bone marrow isn't that risky, right? Maybe she just wants to save her own life and not put your sister in jeopardy. And she probably isn't trying to pressure your parents either. The child is pitiful. If the risk isn't high, the bone marrow should be donated. Realizing the gossip was getting out of hand, Carrie stepped in. Friends and relatives. Family matters shouldn't be broadcasted. But Dad only made the post to prevent you all from being deceived. Whether bone marrow donation is risky or not, Sunny will certainly look for a match from you all. Dad just wants to warn everyone. Ken chimes in. If she comes to you, we're not responsible. After that comment, even those defending me stopped. Everyone feared the situation might reach them. Carrie continued with a sensible chat. Fear of risk is natural. It's not shameful if you don't want to donate. We all have our families to care for. Honestly, if it were me who was sick, I wouldn't even ask my family for help. Some people, scared of trouble, started agreeing with Carrie. And so, being cut off from the family was a silent agreement. I leaned back on the bench, unable to stop myself from sarcastically laughing. Laughing and crying, I took some screenshots and called Felix. Honey, I've decided to keep the baby. Come pick me up. No one seems to have looked at the test results I'd left in the red envelope. Carrie's world on social media seemed unbothered as usual. On Mother's Day, she posted pictures from taking Mom to offer incense. She mentioned how the best gift for Mom is to take care of herself. Not long after that, I received a charm from Mom sent through someone. A day before heading overseas for a tour, she shared a family send-off photo. True family wants the best for each other. They wouldn't drag each other down. Ken liked it and commented exactly. 2 days before leaving for the tour, she posted a breeze declaration. Goodbye to troubling things and annoying people. Starting tomorrow, I'm flying. Her family lined up in support underneath. But the day before leaving, her posts were unusually silent. I wasn't surprised though. That was the day she'd get her test results back. Carrie's dance troupe had their physicals done at our workplace before the tour. Because of my mentor, I knew her results ahead of time. My mentor is an expert in leukemia treatment, and we just became part of the bone marrow bank. So, It was a twist of fate that I found out about the matching results first. Carrie came in just before we finished for the day. She and Ken were blocking the mentor's office doorway. "Doctor, this test result must be wrong," Carrie said anxiously but calmly. "You see, I had a falling out with Sunny recently, and she's in your department. She must have been upset about me not donating bone marrow and changed my test results secretly." Her words made everyone in the office look up in surprise. Carrie became more certain. "So doctor, could you please correct the results? Our dance troupe needs this health certificate urgently, because I'm flying out tonight." My mentor adjusted his glasses, considering a gentle approach. Such an important result. The hospital wouldn't dare make a mistake. Ken cut him off angrily. "Not dare make a mistake, yet you let Sunny change people's results as she pleases. You better give me a good explanation, or I'll sue your whole department." I walked in just in time to see this scene unfold. Ken rushed at me, but my mentor stood up sharply, pushing him aside. He ordered security, his face icy. Carrie quickly put on a pleading smile. "My brother is just so angry. Please, doctor, just change the result for me. We won't pursue Sunny's responsibility. I'm desperate, my flight is tonight." The mentor frowned and looked up at me. "Didn't you inform them of the results?" I folded my arms. I left the test results with them, but it seems like they didn't check. Carrie's smile froze instantly. My colleagues came to shield me, whispering supportively as they touched my belly. "They're treating you like this, yet you're still wondering if you should donate bone marrow for them? You must be a saint. Why consider losing your own child to save such ungrateful people?" After hearing those words, Carrie stumbled back, sitting down heavily on a chair. Ken, clueless, kept raging. "Well, Sunny, you and your colleagues are all deceiving us. Just you wait. I'll bring your department down. No one will escape." His threats went unanswered, because Carrie's nose began bleeding. 1 drop. 2 drops. They quietly fell on her pristine white dress. Carrie was completely freaked out. Her eyes started to tear up, and she hurriedly covered her nose, trying to hide the bloodstain on her dress with her hands. She looked up at me, scared and angry. "It's you. It must be you who did this." No response. The people around watched her with varying degrees of sympathy, and then she broke down, tears streaming down her face. In the end, security had to escort her out of the office. Carrie didn't make it abroad for the tour. Her whole family rushed her around for urgent tests. The result was undeniable. They finally found the test report I had left. They realized what they've done only after the fact. The day they found the test report, my mom called me. As soon as I picked up the phone, her loud sobs hit me out of the blue. "Sunny, you did this on purpose. They've always said you had a dark heart, and I didn't believe it until now. You purposely provoked us, made us cut ties. You didn't want to save your sister." At that moment, she didn't think I was the only one who could save Carrie, because with their resources, they felt confident about getting her treated. So she let her guard down and freely cursed me out. I quietly hung up and blocked her number. Eventually, after weighing their options, they went to the most authoritative figure, my mentor. The next time we saw each other was at the hospital. Carrie was admitted. Mike grabbed my mentor's hand, saying no matter the cost, he wants his daughter cured. He slipped a bigger envelope into his hands than the one he gave me on Charity Day. Mentor refused the envelope, telling them there wasn't a suitable match for the bone marrow yet, and they'd have to opt for conservative treatment. He suggested organizing willing family and friends to get tested for a possible match. Mike quickly offered his arm. "Test me, she's my daughter. I'm sure to be a match. I'll donate." Mentor glanced back at me silently. Following his gaze, Mike awkwardly touched his lips with a fist when he saw me. I opened my folder, formally stating the potential risks of donating bone marrow. After I finished, I fixed my eyes on Mike. "With so many risks in donating marrow, will you still do it? Aren't you afraid your wife might lose 2 loved ones?" His face turned crimson, yet he stubbornly averted his eyes. "Donate." I smirked and shifted my gaze to Ken and Mom standing behind him. Ken seemed straightforward. "No need for talking, I'll donate. I can't help it. I favor my sister over anyone, especially you." I looked at my mom. "Are you in too?" Her eyes welled up as if she had cooled down after screaming at me that day. She stayed silent, dabbing at her eyes. A mother loves all her children. And if I hadn't been so mad at you, I wouldn't have. I let out a scoff, interrupting her. Just say if you'll get tested so I can set up the check. The word stuck in her throat, and she looked down sheepishly. Donate. Do you agree with Ken donating too? She clutched her chest, her voice trembling. Yes. Now you're not afraid of the risk losing both children? Mom covered her face as tears silently flowed through her fingers. Back at the office, my mentor was already there. As soon as I walked in, a few colleagues surrounded me. Yogurt, nuts, and little snacks piled up on my desk. Sonny, a happy mood makes for a healthy baby. Yeah, forget the annoying people and things. That's how you have a beautiful baby. Sonny, give me a hug, we'll always love you. My eyes felt a bit moist. The gloom from the ward lifted a lot right then. My mentor walked over and tossed a stack of papers on my desk. Quit munching, get to work, or you'll have trouble delivering naturally. The place chuckled, suddenly relaxed. Colleagues heard about the match results first. She mumbled, well, karma's real, not a single match. They didn't give up on that result and sought other hospitals for verification. We ran into each other again as the results came in. My always pampered mom looked 10 years older, with slumped shoulders and sunken eyes. Seeing me enter the elevator, her eyes brightened unexpectedly, hesitated for a moment, and finally gathered the courage to speak to me. Sonny. I stayed silent. Sonny, how have you been lately? I turned to face her. What do you really want to say? She couldn't hold it anymore. Her face crumpled, and tears streamed down once more. Sonny, you're a doctor. What's to be done with your sister's illness? I thought for a moment and gave her a gentle smile. The three of us in the elevator all had eyes that shone with excitement. Mom happily reached for my hand. You'll donate to help your sister. I gently shook her hand away and handed her the takeout container I was holding. Take it, let your daughter eat up. Didn't you say a full belly cures all? The smile froze on her face, quickly turning beet red. Ken cursed and moved to hit me, but Mike held him back. When the door opened, I walked out without a backward glance. I was curious just how far they'd go for Carrie. Turns out their actions still surprised me. That night, Mike withdrew the earlier announcement from our family group chat. That made it even clearer. It wasn't about preferring sons over daughters. They just didn't want an extra, unwanted child like me caught in the middle. After Mike retracted the announcement, someone chimed in. So Mike cooled down, huh? It hasn't been long. And he's already taken it back. Yeah, what could come between a family? Just talk it out. Mike posted some embarrassed emoticons, not denying their banter. Then he spoke up. It was my fault for not asking clearly, acted on impulse. Donating bone marrow isn't risky, just like giving blood. What harm could come from drawing a couple of tubes of blood? I heard it's even good for your health. Nobody answered. A moment later, second aunt sent 3 big question marks. You were the one saying it was risky and would cut ties. Now you say it's beneficial. Mike, you've been all over the place with these stories. So, are you about to make another announcement? First aunt, always stirring the pot, chimed in. Yeah, third brother, feeling sorry for the kids now and trying to persuade us to donate bone marrow? You said there was a risk, and you wouldn't be responsible. So we're scared to do it. Mike was silent for quite a while. Seeing his one-man show failing, Mom, who never spoke in the group, came to support. We all went to the hospital for tests a few days ago. Honestly, no risk. Just took a couple of blood samples. And the son-in-law gave us big red envelopes. He said whoever's a match gets a house in their name. Such huge incentives got the group buzzing. Is Sonny's in-law side that well off? Just giving away a house like that? Oh, a spur-of-the-moment decision perhaps. Who'd really dare ask for a house later on? After first aunt said this, everyone echoed in agreement. Obviously, they wanted Mike to promise something. Seeing a glimmer of hope, Mom got anxious. Why wouldn't there be? Of course there'll be. You all know our son-in-law's well off. I'll have him write a guarantee. Mike agreed. Totally have the son-in-law write a guarantee. If someone's a match, I definitely stand by my word. Maybe Mike forgot I was in the group. Or maybe he thought I wouldn't expose him. But seeing my husband working late in the study, I quietly typed a statement in the chat. There's no way I'm letting anyone covet the house my husband worked so hard to earn. Statement. I am Sonny, and I'm not the one with leukemia. Nor do I need a bone marrow match. So my husband's house hasn't been promised to anyone. Also, I have indeed cut ties with them. Mike, who claims to stand by his words, wants you all to donate bone marrow under false pretenses. Investigate thoroughly. Any consequences from donating are none of my business, Sonny. The chat blew up again. Some of the younger ones, still with a sense of right and wrong, came to speak. Uncle, what's going on? It's Carrie who's sick, why say it's Sonny? Uncle, you're not being fair. Initially thought Sonny was sick, so cut ties. Now finding out it's Carrie, and tricking us to donate. Would you believe it, Uncle? Bias this obvious? If you act like this, who dares to donate to your family? Even Big Uncle finally spoke. Third brother, that's not cool. We're family, no need to deceive us. It's not about the house, but adopting this way. No one's daring to step up anymore. Carrie, seeing things go south, couldn't keep quiet any longer. She sent a long voice message. With a sob, she begged friends and family, even said she could offer a house, promising to remember the lifesaver forever. Yet everyone knew she had a prenuptial agreement, making the offer impossible. And Mike, hoping to buy Ken a house, couldn't spare one either. Someone shared a screenshot. It was a previous chat where Carrie said, "Being scared of the risk is normal. Not donating isn't shameful. Everyone has families to care for. Honestly, if it were me sick, I wouldn't ask family for help." The group fell silent. This last message sat there glaring like a big slap across Carrie's face. A few of Mike's closest, albeit reluctant, did get their tests done. Big uncle, second uncle, and a few brothers. But none were a match. Eventually, Mom still approached me, right in Carrie's hospital room. I was pulled inside. The massive private room already had several cameras set up. Mom immediately kneeled in front of me. "Sonny, I beg you, save your sister. Only you're a match with her. Why won't you help?" I looked around, recognized a few famous video bloggers. They were live streaming. A colleague who came by looked concerned, showed me their phone. The stream had a huge audience. This girl's heartless, right? It's her sister. How can she not help? Yeah, a nurse too. Doesn't even save her own family. Who else could she save? Which hospital does she work at? We better steer clear. My heart turned cold. I put away my phone, stared coldly at Mom. So if I don't donate, you'll ruin me? One gets sick, ruin another. And no fear of losing both daughters? Mom appeared embarrassed, her face visibly reddening. But spying Carrie on the bed, her eyes gained a firmer gaze only a mother could have. It was a sense of security from a mother I had never felt before. Mom seemed desperate, slammed her forehead on the ground repeatedly. "Sonny, I beg you, look at the fact I brought you into this world. Save your sister. It's just donating bone marrow, no risk. Why won't you help? Mom knows you envy your sister, thinks she outshines you. But don't be foolish over life and death. Mom's only thinking of your good. Imagine if your sister, wouldn't you regret not helping your whole life?" Her gut-wrenching plea made the stream's viewer count soar by thousands. Her mom even kneeled, and here she stands unmoved. Right, donating bone marrow isn't risky. Why make it hard for her family? Her mom must be truthful. Better to save both daughters, she willingly kneels. I'm really crying. Mom, seeing no movement, kneeled further, gripping my leg. "Sonny, if you're angry Mom took care of your sister more, I apologize. It's Mom's fault. Don't take it out on your sister. If you promise to save your sister, it doesn't matter if your mom has to die. As long as you two get along, you can live guilt-free," said Mom. Ken, who was standing stubbornly off to the side, finally caved. He knelt down straight as a rail. I couldn't help but laugh. "Weren't you about to hit me in the elevator? What's this about now?" Ken's chest was heaving, and his face turned a shade of beet red. He glared at me, wishing he could tear me apart. Then he slammed his forehead to the floor with a loud thud. Definitely not a gentle hit. The live stream chat exploded with hate again. This woman is a cold-blooded doctor. Does she want to drive her mom to her death and her brother insane? We found her. She's at such and such hospital. Let's go confront her. Those of you nearby go first. I'll be right behind. A colleague tugged anxiously at my sleeve. I gave her a reassuring look to say, "Don't worry." There were only about 10,000 people in the live chat. Far from enough. They seemed to realize it was time for Mike. He shuffled over to me with a limp, looking like his gout was acting up. Tears rolled down his face as he gazed at me. His eyes were trying to shine with the affection of a father, but it just made my skin crawl. I'd never seen him look at me like that, not even when he sent me away. I rubbed my arms and turned away in disgust. If you're going to kneel, just do it. Spare me the nauseating talk. Mike choked on his words, mouth open but nothing coming out, before dropping heavily to his knees. The chat went wild. Oh my God, that kneel hurt me. This father's making me cry. Damn, if I meet that woman, I'd slap her so hard. Raise funds to slap this heartless doctor. The viewer's anger reached a fever pitch. Then Carrie stumbled off her hospital bed, tears streaming down her face as she reached Mom's side. Mom, don't beg her. Even if I die, I don't want to see you so humble, she sobbed, her cries heartbreaking. Mom, please stand up. It breaks my heart. She tried to pull Mike and Ken up, but they wouldn't budge. So the whole family sat there on their knees, wrapped in each other's arms, crying. Is it just donating bone marrow? Take mine. Where do I donate? Check me too. The first slapping squad has arrived at the hospital. Damn, we're making this doctor pay today. The live stream hit a new high in viewers. The hospital entrance was swarmed with people. Even the hospital higher-ups showed up. Mom's sobbing slowly stopped. She reached for my hand, certainty and triumph gleaming in her eyes. Sonny, when has a family ever failed to talk things through? I spoke with the hospital leaders. They won't trouble you. Go ahead and donate. I've made your dad take back his words about cutting ties. After you donate, I'll make you a good meal to replenish your body. I studied Mom carefully. Her features were similar to mine, the soft hands, the eyes filled with motherly love. That was all I ever wanted in my dreams. Now, it just disgusted me. I indifferent pushed her hand away and gestured toward the door. The path cleared, and my mentor walked in with the hospital leaders. The leaders are here, they're here. Fire this cold-hearted person. Fire them. Fire them. Fire them. The chat was filled with calls for my dismissal. Mom put on a respectful act, bowing to the leaders. Leaders, please don't fire my daughter. She'll donate. I convinced her. She agreed. My colleague chuckled angrily at her performance. Even my mentor had an incredulous look on his face. I gave him a helpless look, then casually took out my phone. Who said I'd donate? Everyone, including Mom, fell silent. The chat was flabbergasted as well. Unbelievable. Even with the leaders here, she's adamant. Time for the justice warriors to step in. Let's all head to such and such hospital. I queued up a video on my phone and cast it onto the screen. Then, I calmly adjusted my collar in front of the camera. Since you're all so keen to watch, let me give you more to chew on. Remember, I'm Sonny, the second child in a family that had a third child just to get a boy. I was sent away to live elsewhere when I was 4. Only after my aunt passed away, when I was 17, did they bring me back. Here's why I won't donate bone marrow. Check out the VCR. The moment I said that, they realized something was off. Ken reacted the quickest, lunging to grab my phone. But the security guards, who were there to maintain order, restrained him. Mom's face turned ashen. She shook Mike's arm furiously. It's all your fault, if it weren't for you. I turned back toward the hospital leaders and nodded. They gave a signal, and I hit play. Tens of thousands in the live stream went silent. The hospital room and its surroundings quieted down too. It was so quiet. Only the sound from the TV could be heard, footage of the day I came home. The scene was captured by a kitchen camera, showing the entire dining area. I said I was sick. Mom, serving food, said to eat more. I said leukemia. She said a full stomach cures all. I asked if my sister could donate her bone marrow. Mike slammed his chopsticks on the table. More comments flew by. Holy crap. What did I just see? Total plot twist. Knew something was off. No reason not to donate without cause. This family's so double standard. It's infuriating. The video kept playing. Carrie chuckled, saying I worried too much. Smile more, it fixes everything. Now that she's the sick one, why doesn't she just smile it away? Smile it away. Yet she's in the hospital, you beep. In the video, Dad threw a huge red envelope in front of me. He slapped me, saying, I'm Mike, and I stand by my word. Cutting family ties with you. I grinned through gritted teeth. Whoever asks for help is the fool. This dude's swinging for the fences, trying to knock someone out? He boasted about sticking to his word. So why's he kneeling now, huh? Loser. I almost got fooled by his crocodile tears just now. This old bastard is so damn biased. I'm fuming. In the video, it finally got to Carrie's turn to speak. Anyone who asks for help is a bastard. May they be struck by lightning and die miserably. Oh my God, how can such a quiet-looking girl be so vicious? Struck by lightning, a miserable death, karma hits so fast. No wonder she refused to ask for help earlier. She swore a deadly oath. Instant karma, that's too satisfying. The video continued, just showing what happened after I left. That medical report was placed on the red envelope, and no one even glanced at it. Ken tossed it aside like trash and handed the envelope to Carrie. Here's your going abroad money, sis. Have fun and don't let it ruin your mood. Let's keep eating. The bad vibe left, so let's continue. The atmosphere wasn't as lively as before, but dinner went on. Mom still wiped her tears, but kept serving her kids food. She's even worried about Carrie eating well after she goes abroad. At the table, only one outsider put down their utensils. Outside the hospital, a commotion started. Whispers reached Mike's ears. Mike picked up a chair and smashed it against the TV. The wall-mounted TV crashed to the floor. The image disappeared with a zap. With his actions, the shouting outside grew louder. Heartless family, serves you right to get sick. Serves you right. Who said asking for help is shameful? Old fool, call me grandpa. In this day and age, how can you be so biased? If you didn't want her, why have her at all? Can't raise what you breed. No one would donate in your shoes. Girl, don't donate to them. Treat them just as they treated you. Mom's face turned pale with fear. She hugged Carrie and backed away repeatedly. Sonny, please close the door and stop filming. Just get out. I watched coldly. Oh, now you're getting filmed and cursed, and you can't handle it? Didn't you just encourage them to curse me? I call you Mom. Please teach me. What does treat others how you want to be treated mean? Mom bumped into the bed edge and sat down hard. Mike and Ken were controlled by security guards. Messages rushed by in the live comments. Gathered at the hospital entrance, change attack target. They played us for fools. Let's show them we're not to be toyed with. I took an ultrasound report from the professor and aimed it at the camera. It was proof of my pregnancy. The evidence appeared clearly on the screen. Since there are many people today, let's make a witness. I'm now 20 weeks pregnant. My professor said if I had to donate marrow, I'd probably need to abort the baby first. Carrie's life matters, and so does my baby's. To be honest, I did hesitate between these two lives, unsure whether to donate or not. Before I finished my words, Mom rushed over like she'd heard some hope. Sonny, Mom knew you couldn't be so heartless. You're pregnant. Listen to Mom. You can have more kids, but a dead person can't come back. This time the online curse wasn't as quick. Shut the hell up. You can't just replace a child with another. Shameless, why sacrifice someone else's child for your daughter? If it weren't for security, those people would have burst into hit. I pushed Mom aside and continued talking. They're right. It dawned on me later that once a child is gone, it's not the same. This child was a blessing for me. I can't just kill them lightly, so I can't donate the marrow. I said everything clearly to prevent them from bothering hospital administration again. Also, so that public opinion would support me. Once I finished, the hospital's leader took a stand, saying if they harassed him again, he'd make sure they got kicked out of the hospital. The issue settled and they lost all hope. But I underestimated their love for Carrie. When colleagues escorted me out, Mom knelt in front of the camera. This time with all her might hitting her head on the ground. Please, it's all our fault, just two old fools. Please donate the marrow for my daughter, I'm begging you. At this moment, a chat screenshot from the family group surfaced online. Carrie's bold statements were highlighted. If I got sick, I'd never ask family. If marrow donation has risks, our family takes no responsibility. With that out, curses reigned, and no one stepped forward to match. They sold their house with rewards, but few showed up. After the live broadcast uproar, Mike and Ken were met by the enraged netizens they summoned at the hospital entrance. Blows meant for me landed on them instead. After that, Carrie's condition progressed quickly. To protect me, my department moved me elsewhere. Hubby worried, hoping I didn't go to work, fearing retaliation. Yet instead of revenge, Mom arrived at my door first. She came at night, in the freezing cold, stood outside holding a food container waiting for me. Hubby let her in. Apart from my wedding visit, it was her first time at my home. She looked around, her eyes getting moist. She opened the container, laying it out layer by layer. Sweet and sour ribs. She wiped her eyes. Your favorite when you were little. My chest tightened with emotion. 4-year-olds shouldn't have such vivid memories. But I'll never forget. I was eating her sweet and sour ribs the day they sent me away. The mom who never smiled at me, smiled warmly feeding me ribs that day. She said they were made just for me. But before I finished one piece, Mike came over sternly in a rush. Said, hurry up, the car's waiting. Without a word, he lifted me off the table. That day I cried my heart out. The half-chewed rib fell to the floor. Since then, I never loved sweet and sour ribs again. Mom choked up, offering me a rib. Sonny, Mom's sorry for you. I know you're mad at me, sweetie. But believe me, I'm hurting too. Growing up in a family that favored boys, I barely had a choice myself. Do you know, since you left, I haven't made sweet and sour ribs. The tangy smell takes me back to that cold winter when I was 4. I felt so helpless, like I was drowning, with big tears rolling down my face. Mom trembled as she wiped away my tears. Sonny, I admit I was biased. I raised Carrie for over 20 years, but had you for only 4. Naturally, I was a bit kinder to her. But Sonny, that's on me. Please don't blame Carrie. In consideration of those 4 years I raised you, donate your bone marrow to her. I know I made mistakes, and I'll make it up to you double from now on. I remember her embrace, the longing for her care. I could never be as heartless as she was to me. I couldn't help but think, if Carrie could hold on until after my baby was born, would I donate then? I never ate those sweet and sour ribs that day. The truth is, I'm a bit dark inside. Even after having the baby, I probably wouldn't want to donate the marrow. Maybe Mom gave Carrie the wrong idea. When Carrie tried to hit my belly, she screamed about killing my baby. I was ready and dodged her easily. She was surrounded by medical staff and appeared unstable, kneeling and going mad when she couldn't harm my baby. Without the ability to harm your child, I beg you, please. I beg you, why wouldn't you just be struck down by lightning and die a horrible death? Ha ha ha. I was meant to die badly anyway. Then she started crying again. Sonny, please, I beg you. Have an abortion and donate your marrow to me. After that day, Carrie was kicked out of the hospital. She didn't live to see my baby born. Nor did I have to struggle with the decision of whether to donate. After that, I cut off all contact with them. I heard they faced serious online harassment and moved far away. How could I bear losing my baby? I took my daughter to my aunt's old home to pay respects, and saw someone from afar at the grave. Mom had aged dramatically, looking defeated. She stared at my daughter, lost in thought. Tears streamed down as she watched. Sonny, you're back? I kept some sweet and sour ribs warm for you. What? You're sick? Donating, I'll donate to you. My daughter hid behind me, scared. I picked her up, silently passing by Mom. Later, my daughter asked me, Mom, will you get me a brother? I shook my head firmly. No. I will never let my daughter feel even the slightest hint of favoritism. The end.